Welcome down to Coburn Arc. We're down at Victor George Kalis Oval, home of the Fremantle Football Club. It's actually game 2 of the 17s Black and 17 Gold Simply Energy WA AFLW 17s series. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jenny Wallace, your commentary team again this evening. We saw game 1 last week, which was a great contest, a 1-point result in the end. Not that the result is the key to these games, but a number of girls put their talent on display, and it was a fantastic performance from a number of the players who will get a good chance to have a look at again here this evening. So the WA 17 squad split into 2 for a couple of trial matches these 2 Wednesday nights, as the squad unfortunately not able to travel and play interstate at all this season, but this is getting their chance to play a couple of against each other and put their talents on display. So Clint Degebrot, Jenny Wallace, looking forward to our second game here.
Absolutely. Last week was thrilling in the sense of the way the teams kept matching back up with each other, and what I enjoyed the most from last week that I'm looking forward to tonight was the fact that the players seem to listen to the message of take the game and try and move the ball forward. Yes, you make errors, but it's all about how you keep getting back up and going about it, and that's what impressed me last week, and I'm looking forward to that again.
Who are the players you want to see back up again, or perhaps perform this week, where maybe they didn't really get their best opportunity last week?
I'd like to see Nelson Martin get her hands on the footy in the middle of the ground. By the girls that really well. I'd like to see them double up. It was just on Jenny's message before we go to the break too. That's exactly the message that the new talent specialist Ellie Larkin gave. Is we want to show the AFL clubs are really happy with what you did. Want you to show, showcase your talent again, run and stun, take the game on the bounce. Don't get caught up too much with the strategies of the game. Just enjoy and showcase your talents.
Let's take a break here on front row screens before the gold and black under 17 WA girls go at it tonight in game 2 of their AFLW series.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Welcome back. Not far away from the start of the game between WA Black and Gold in the 17s AFLW series. We're at Victor George Kalis Oval, Fremantle Football Club, Coburn Arc, for tonight's action. A beautiful night for footy as well. A little bit cool out there for the girls. Nice and warm in here in the commentary box for us. There's Zippy Fish. Saw her in action last week, and she was very, very impressive, Jen. We loved the way that she took the game on, and like her name suggests, has a fair bit of speed.
Yeah, and she really liked to move the ball on by foot. She had a really big first half last week, and in fact, over the whole game, actually had 9 inside 50s herself, which was really impressive for the Black team.
A couple of other players there. Young Noakes, we liked her last week. She got better the longer the game.
Yeah, playing League 4 with East Fremantle this year under Simon Quayle's been a great job. Chloe Shearing, West Perth product on screen now. Loves a bit of run and stun. Young player coming in there. It's Tanner too from the Swan Districts Footy Club. So you can see Big Jared there. He coaches the East Perth Riders team on the screen earlier. Amanda Robertson's been working with the state of for a long time now. 15 on screen. You can see behind the blonde ponytail there. Gracie Fenton, daughter of Mark Fenton, another Peel product. She'll get some footy in the middle of the ground today. She just tends to accumulate the ball. He's kicking it over the top of a jam tin these days, thanks to Mark Fenton and his intention with some kicking. So super developing that over the last couple of months. Right on screen, Angelique Rayson as well. She was good. She's 15 years of age, turning 16 this year, like Jamie. Product of the Willerton Basketball Club.
Dad's a big Carlton fan, I'm told, as well.
He is.
Loves the Blues, and very, very concerned that she might get drafted by the Eagles.
Being drafted to Carlton as a bloke, as it would be an issue at the moment, or the last couple of years. Maybe to Carlton as a female will be much better. West Coast, of course, building. Yes, they'll build up over the next couple of years as well. Big one for them.
Tyler Fitzgerald about to receive the footy number 15.
We
really liked the way she went about it as well last week, playing mostly across half forward, and she was another who just seemed to get better the longer the game went.
It seems like a few players who might have had quite a first half, for example, they got thrown around, switched their roles up, and then took their opportunity in the second half. So we actually saw that throughout the game last week, and those players that seemed to benefit in the second half from a greater clarity.
We had Jamie Henry on screen there, number 28 eggs as well, and she was buried in the huddle. I noticed that Mark went out to the umpires pre-game today, knowing that we wouldn't have a chance to get him on screen this time, knowing that we were focusing on some players to watch. He's made his way over. He's still big noting himself, having a chat with Trent Cooper, the AFLW. There he is. There's Dino. Bit of me time again for Dean. He got some good feedback from some of his umpiring mates last week. Oh, give him a salute as well.
And he knows he knows the camera's going to go to him, so he's ducking away. He's just having a chat to Stephen Laxis and Trent Cooper from, because Stephen Laxis is doing some contact and work with the female program at the West Coast, and of course Trent Cooper just extended his tenure with Fremantle for 2 more years.
Jules there doing the running as well. She has the thermals on tonight, so really braving the cool conditions.
And thermals and regards, you're a bit mozzier out there too. Josh Wilson also from West Coast Eagles too. As see Cooper coming to the bench. It looks like Greenwood following her. Starting to get into position. This one, Tanner Lee, just she could be talking about anything out there right now to Jade Mead. Whatever it would be, it would be funny. She's a ripper, Tanner Lee, and that's Georgia Shell. First game in a long time. She's been preparing for this. She busted a collarbone, subsequent shoulder injury. And play has found her way. It's Maisha Blurt, of course, Ashley Blurt, Richmond, and West Coast player moving into position. They've been working together a few years, those two. Tanner Lee's got another joke for Maisha too.
So saving up her best work. So Maisha Blurton at full forward to the right of your screen. That's the way Gold will be kicking in the first quarter as we wait the side to get us underway in game 2 of this series. The umpire to toss it up. Roger, number 10 for Gold. It's in the quarter last week. She's starting in there again. Bushby, the young Swans product. Swing onto that left boot again, putting it out into space. Looking for a runner to come on to the footy. Bruce took it away for the black side instead, laying it up to Beck Vanosky. They've got it for Brown. Pops up a little hand pass. Needed to hit the target on that occasion to get the ball really rolling forward for Black. It's a stoppage call by the umpire who'll get things moving again at half forward.
Dodd there in the black armband as holding the Windships one down against Rogers. Just a bit of respect for Maddie Dodd's grandmother, Zippy Fish, in the game early with the 450 entry gen. Ball bouncing towards Tracy Fenton. Should be able to turn and open up the angle. Looking for the handball in the corridor. Does find it, stepping outside. Just losing control of the footy on this occasion. The black team. Second chance. Ball's kicked around the corner. Umpire's doing a ton of work there. Just registering one behind.
And she started last game dangerous in front of goal as well. This time just across a little bit, but she doesn't seem to look to overuse the ball when she's in scoring distance. She tries to take it on.
She's wearing different coloured boots tonight. She had the red ones on last week. Gold moving the ball back into play. Chloe Shearing in number 27 for the black. Just watching on now as that ball popped out by Chirichilli. Great tackle applied on Olivia Cripp. Ball comes out. Black coming through again. Intercept on. And away they go. Here's Jamie Henry. It's away. Put it in front of a teammate. I don't quite take that mark on that occasion, but the recovery's okay. Tyler Fitzgerald will hand pass away into Henry. Goes to Green. Zippy Fish. Little toe poke. Probably could have almost run onto it again herself. Bushby there once more. A lot of goal on the screen there as Fitzgerald comes crashing through once more. Just sends a hopeful hand pass forward. No real target there. In the opposite direction for Black is Beck Vanosky again, but we've heard a whistle. Free kick's been paid. It's going to go to Nadja Brown, the young shark out there in black.
And Martin from Gold got 3 times on the footy early. That's exactly what we're after, is this lovely intercept take from Gold on the side. Probably old one. Down towards Chirichilli. Knocked away from her by Brown in the hands of Fish. Busy early. And towards Noakes. Centre half forward today. Centre half back last week. Playing a teammate in racing. That Nelson Marsden's taking her feet and zipping through. There is Fish. Looking forward to get a connection. Boothman on the second grab's able to take the back. changed her boots and got some more hot in the hair too. Andy Boothman towards the top of the square, over Pollard's head in the hands of Grace Fenton. Very busy, she handballs towards the line. Shot might have been a good one there from Grace. She want to be less than selfish as Boothman has a second shot. This one bounces in the square and goes over the line. Boothman, 2 tries for a good. Gracie Fenton had a chance. The pressure work in the forward line resulted in that second shot from Emily. Good start from the team, much like last week, Jen.
Much like last week, they got out to they kicked 4 goals in the first quarter last game, and then Gold had sort of consistently pegged their way back over the last 3 quarters. Interestingly, at the start here, that Fenton twice, for mine, looked like she's in scoring distance and position, but has looked to handball off. And then the difference when Booth gets it, she's like, well, I'm in distance, I'm going to take the accountability and get it.
It was almost a repeat, wasn't it, what we saw before? Fenton should be taking that shot. She's welcome to, but deciding not to. And in the end, it worked out okay on the second occasion. A goal in the end to Emily Boothman to get us underway tonight. Nice little hand pass from Henry, away to Bushby. A couple of Swans combining, almost all the way to forward with that kick. Trying to work the way through was Machevka. In the end, Fitzgerald has just snuck it through. She worked hard last week. I don't think she hit the scoreboard last week, but she set up a number of scoring opportunities. She's got herself started in the same sort of form here this evening. So a goal either way in the opening 4 and a bit minutes, but we...
Machevka, lovely little chance.
Yeah, it was a nice little setup, and Fitzgerald getting to work off this time, Jen.
And Machevka started last game, or played a lot of last game in defence. Plays at Subiaco Rogers in the forward line, and we were commenting last week that she was in a different position. This week she's getting the chance to start forward. Places the handball really nicely. Great finish, goal, the way it snuck in.
Back in the middle again. Goal each. Might see another high score today. St Marsden work early in the bounce. Gill bumps up again to the South Pemberton product. Lives on a farm about as far away as you can about living in Albany. Jamie Henry comes out of that contest and hands the ball to the umpire. Kayla Rogers, Holly Gill again. Bushby, little handball into the corridor. Suits Brown. Come the other way, Henry okay. Trying to find a little Cripps on the outside. She gets a second chance at it now. It's Bushby really nice. One wing to the other. Bushby's kick will do. Coming up beautifully to meet it. The black defence. Handball's okay. Skipping away now. Oh, smothered at the last minute. The black team allows Jamie Henry to come back into this. This is Chile. Connected forward. Mark. Double touch there by Anna Sinclair. Stepping inside. Reach has got with East Fremantle teammates. Working hard at half forward and half back active teams. And Fitzgerald just shoved Reach over the line. We'll get a ball.
I noticed as well in the team sheet, there's been a few swaps this week, I guess necessitated by availabilities, hopefully not injuries. Exams, okay.
So year 11s and 10s have got their exams, so a couple of girls under a bit of pressure to step out and just concentrate on. The Geneva here's got tonight, and the players have got one early in the morning. Drive out here to Coburn from players from West Perth. Long drive from Guildford.
So what about coaches too, Tilda Sim was in the goal up, but she's been shifted across to the black lineup. She's number 32 for black. Good tackle applied. The umpire will reward the tackler. So the free kick's been given to Entwistle. It was a fierce tackle. Jarred the ball free. The umpire decided the opponent had a prior opportunity. Gill stretching for the mark, couldn't take it. Cripps is there. Little pass, it's up a teammate. Opportunity to set up through Nelson Marsden, but that kick's been intercepted. The opposing number 8 intercepting that one. Tessa Liddington wants to kick to the open side. Britton just been pushed off the ball by Cripps. Spotted a free kick. It's going to come to Cripps for kicking in danger. She's wringing her hand as she goes back to take the kick. So there's obviously some contact, but then she's turned it over. In the way again, Entwistle. We should have taken the mark, but she's good enough to hold it up and should earn a stoppage for her side. Played around 7 minutes already. We've seen a goal the way, and the start's been fairly bright from the sides.
She's just stepped out of view, but Gemma Houghton's standing down here below us, watching the next generation of players coming through.
Fitzgerald working away from goal. This is what she did well last week, was the inside finish. This is Georgia Haynes. Talked about her last week. Daughter of Daniel Haynes, Fremantle Peel product. Fremantle Football Club player Peel product. Daughter's playing the same way. She gets a second chance here. Can't quite get the handle. Working really hard as caller. She's trying to feed it forward to Dodd. As we said, Grandma passed away during the week. She loved her footy and loved supporting her granddaughter. And every player here today honouring Mary Dodd's grandmother's memory. Black, lovely steps aside. Looks to be Britain. Kicks half chopped off by Macaulay, and Georgia Haynes comes through and knocks it out of bounds. Good defensive work.
That was a move her older sister would put on as well. Jade Britton doesn't mind trying to take on the player on the mark. She'll be watching, I'm sure. She's not huddled up somewhere under a rug out there on the Outer Banks. Need a ball up to split them this time.
Nelson Marston working hard again in and under.
Holly Gill's been good in the ruck, hasn't she? Long reach and good vertical leap.
Yeah, got a great leap. She's in that contest again. Brown tries to kick off the deck. There's no danger on that occasion. Paddling the ball out of the area. Chance for Tompkin, now leaving it behind. Teammate comes through to support. They really can't create too much out of that opportunity. And we'll see another ball up at half forward. So a goal early to Fitzgerald for gold and Boothman for black. Into the ruck comes Angelique Rayson. Here's Dodd again for gold. Towards Blurton, stretching, can't take it. Just bumps out of her opponent's tackle. Sends the kick towards full forward. It's a great position kick. Sinclair's dangerous around goal. Tries to go with the outside of the boot. Got the wrong side of the footy. And it works out okay in the end because it stays in the field of play. So it gives Gold a second opportunity. Though Black have done nicely without even taking a clean possession. They've rushed it another 30 metres away from the goal they're defending. Reach is there. Clears the area even further. And a chance for Cripps to chase this one down.
Impressed by Reach. Plays like a player a couple of years older. Cripps gives it to Macaulay. Oh, so that was Mia Pappas, takes away. And Blurton takes the mark out in front of her face. She's close enough to score. Get a 45-metre kick to Maisha. So this is well within scoring range, and the right footer should suit her on the angle. Good work upfield from the half forwards. We'll ride this one in with Tamasha. Kicks on its way. Looks pretty good. The goal umpire does a fair bit of work to our side of the ground, and she just slid it across the face for a minor score. All tied up here. Freo.
You managed to engineer a 1-point result last week. Can we give you credit this week, or is this Ellie's work, seeing as she's just about taken over from you now?
We did have a coffee yesterday and got the magnets around.
Made a few late changes tonight as well with the players that missed out with exams and other commitments. Mitchevska puts it out wide, and because it's out of play inside the 50-metre arc, we'll see a boundary throw-in.
Pop that on the commission credit card too. Handover meeting. Just got our manager over in the corner over there nodding and smiling. I don't know if that was I've got you or that's all clear. Adam Jones.
Have to be careful with the manager here sitting alongside us. Every other person who came inside this commentary box last week copped a spray from us for avoiding the cold, but he is the manager, so he can do whatever he wants.
He'll be here having a look at next year's 19s race, and nearly gets the kick away. Worked up from centre half back. Well, she might have changed in the ruck. Fitzgerald finds a path where there shouldn't have been one. Pulls it over her shoulder. There's her hand on the line. There is. And what we say about Abby Reach before is she plays at a very mature level. I think she's just turning 16 this year. South Fremantle player. Very impressive work on the line.
Had a good week last week as well. The kick in towards Liddington. Good tackle applied. That's Chirichilli. Didn't get involved too much last week. She was fairly low down on the stat sheet, but she's had a couple of important touches and a tackle tonight, which is good to see. There's 2 trial games in a row. That's wonderful ruck work there from Raisin. Got it down to a teammate. They've overrun it. Blurton, good in this position. Snaps to the open goal square and bounces it through. Loves a goal. Just Tamasha Blurton. And as you mentioned earlier, Degs, anywhere pretty much within the 50-metre arc is within range for her. And it'd be great, Jen, if we could see her collect a number of marks inside 50 just to put her talents on display tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goal was worked from a really excellent tap down, wasn't it? And it sort of busted through to advantage. And Blurton, clean hands as well below her knees, and a strong kick. So again, I like when I see these players, 20 metres out, just backing their skills in and going for goal.
So you're doing some work there too to get the forward set up after the goal.
good game awareness, isn't it? That to switch straight back on, celebrate a little bit, and then get back onto right, where are we and what's our structure supposed to be, making sure they're
identified by our David Lindsay, who's in commentary today. Saw her when he was the boss of schools footy with the West Australian Footy Commissioners. This ruck goes Black's way. Tompkin gets a little toe poke off the ground. First there, Britton. Spills out towards Greenwood. Greenwood's worked off the football by Dodd. Paddling the ball forward is Cripps. Dodd, clean hands. Little handball. It's creative. Finds Macheska. She looks at the top of 50. A big leap and attempted catch by Pappas. Reach works it out of defence, but only as far so far as Tompkin. Led Shearing to the football on this occasion. Shearing looks to be working on the midfield. This falls on Macheska's chest. She plays on, kicks it around the body. The Subiaco small forward. She's very dangerous close to goal. A great goal awareness, young lady. And she gives Gold, or she extends Gold's lead. Black's got a bit of work to do in the middle.
It's a turnaround from last week, isn't it? It's Gold this time that are getting the opportunities, the repeat opportunities in their forward 50, and their accuracy's on show again. And at these instances, they're not from set shots. It's just free play, reading the ball well, getting clean hands onto the ball, which gives them extra time.
Get you, Jen, to keep an eye on the stats throughout the night, but it definitely appears to be more of a kicking game tonight. There was one of the teams, I think it was Gold last week, that seemed to go 1-for-1 kick for hand pass, but tonight both teams, at least from the observer's point of view, we'll check the stats to see if we've made a lie of us, but but it does appear as though kicking's more of an interest for both teams tonight. Racing towards half forward with a kick. Nice little intercept coming through there by McCauley. Sends them down towards full forward. Not taken deep in attack by Chirichilli. Cleared away from the area initially, at least by Black. Henry takes the mark. They'll get it inside 50 again, although she wants to go sideways. Works out okay. Bushby thought about the hand pass to the runner. That was covered. Now she's worked herself into a bit of a hole. Tompkin has some work to do. Blurton comes up to assist. Just brushes aside a couple of tackles. Lays it off to a teammate there in Hall, who sent it goal, and she's got a good piece of that. That's a fantastic goal and nicely worked from Gold. They probably made a little bit of a mess of it there through Bushby's decision, Jen, to go with the hand pass, but Tamasha Blurton was having none of that. She came up to fix the problem. Yeah,
showed such great strength, didn't she, to sort of break through a couple of tackles and then deliver a nice short hand pass onto someone who could run on, and as I said again, kicking from a fair distance out, but going with the momentum and a great finish. So again, yeah, Blurton just showing how dangerous she is inside the forward 50 with her size and her strength.
Coach Jen Holmes has thrown Brown back onto the ball. Looking at reach and Hall the goal kicker in this case. Tall and a couple of smalls getting on the board for Gold in this quarter. Working now is Brown, worked off the footy. Shearing, usually playing back in the middle at the moment. Enough tackle pressure on Jamie Henry to cause a secondary ball up. Girls have faced off again like a centre bounce, and Gill again thumps the ball forward. Dodd first in. Slips the tackle from Shearing. Let's work forward to Bushby. She's fast. Slippy Fish is faster. That's hard to believe because Bushby's lightning fast. Riley Hall pinched her from hockey some years ago. She's a product of Sam Cavicchio's football factory out at Governor Stirling. Chirichilli goes inside, back to Hall. She steps around to the top of the goal square, goes through. O'Donnell's hands worked off it. There was Mivcheska, and O'Donnell is trying to get out of there, but she's just let that go on a tackle, I think. And the pressure from yellow forwards, both in marking and on the ground, and now with tackle pressure, is causing an issue for the black side. This is Taylor Fitzgerald. Strikes the ball pretty well usually. Very deliberate approach. She was very dangerous as an inside 50 player last week. She sends the kick on the way. It goes a little end over end, and I think Tamasha Blurton's marked it in the square. Too big, too strong. Just on Tanner Lee. So Tamasha Blurton's marked that in the goal square and we put on an angle. I see the replay. Maybe she must just marked it just outside. This is a soda for Tamasha Blurton. Oh. And she's pulled it to the far side. You go through her routine. No, you've got to go through your routine, young lady. Absolute soda for her. She's kicking from all over the place, so she'll be a little disappointed. It just allows Black to breathe a sigh of relief. Just going into the quarter time break. Minute to play. First quarter. Game 2.
Kick in. Ends up being a little shorter than they would have liked, and now the fullback comes up to get involved again. That was Mead who had the kick out and then had to chase up her own ball. Now right across the face it goes, and it stays in the field of play. So Black should be able to clear now. 40-odd seconds to go in this term. Here's Britton. Can Black run at the length of the ground? Britton clean beneath the knees, gives a hand pass away. Chance to set up something here from Bekvanovsky, but that's been intercepted. And Pollard takes the mark for gold. Decides to go out wide. Bushby. Just 20 seconds to set something up now. Her kick will be intercepted. No, it just cleared the pack. Gets to Dodd. Needs to get it inside if they're going to score before the siren. Long towards full forward at the contest. Blurton's there again. Socked out of the area by Gold. They might have to sock her again here, as Pappas tried to create something, but it's going to be cleared. Nicely done by Entwistle, who's done a couple of good things in defence in this first quarter and finds a bit of safety to end the term. So a very good quarter from Gold. They conceded the first goal, but since then have kicked 4 of their own. And Tamasha Blurton there, number 40 for Gold, has been in very good form. So too Bushby there, number 2. And Jamie Henry's getting plenty of touches as well for Gold again. We'll take a break here thanks to Front Row Screens and also Simply Energy. It's the WA Under 17s intra-squad match between Black and Gold. Back with the second quarter shortly.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
We're inside the huddle of the Black squad, taking on Gold in the WA 17s AFLW intra-squad match. Game number 2 after the two teams met here last Wednesday night as well at Victor George Kalis Oval, part of Coburn Arc, Fremantle Football Club's home venue. And there's the Gold squad in their huddles. Kerry O'Sullivan having a good chat to her group.
See the photographer wandering around the foreground. That's a part of the She Can Coach program. There's 3 coaches out there that's part of this AFL program, WA, led by Mark Webb, and one of them is on screen there, Amanda Robinson. He is not part of She Can Coach. That is Big Jared from the Mighty Royals, talking to the Black backs at the moment. Looks like Ellie Noakes has been shifted back, and I don't think it's a bad idea either. That's him. He's here from the AFL. Just getting some footage of our ladies coaching today.
And there's Wes, who, despite the fact it's about 10 degrees, has just decided that Jen, the polo shirt's all he needs here tonight. What have you liked in the first quarter?
I've liked the fact that Gold seemed to have addressed some things from last week, which was they overused the handball last week, and in this first quarter it seemed like when they used the handball it was the right time to do it, but the rest of the time they went by foot, and they just managed to keep it in their forward 50, so they've got good forward 50 pressure. Blurton is high up on disposals, and she's a forward, showing just how long,
square, isn't she?
Yes, showing how much time is being spent in their attacking 50. So a lot to like for Gold's ability to tweak a few things from last week and come out and hit the ground running with that.
I think McCauley flashing through there. That was terrific, little bit of play, and there's been an overwhelming number of inside 50s for the Gold team today, so it's been really difficult so far for the Black team.
Yeah, 12 versus 2.
So yeah, and those 2 were very early too.
They scored from both.
Yeah,
so
they did score from both.
Yeah. What other stats have you got there for us, Jen? Who's leading the way in terms of individuals?
Yeah, sure. So Fitzgerald is and Bushby and Blurton for the Gold are right up the top with disposals 8, 7 and 6 respectively. And then for Black, Reach, Fish and Boothman. So 3 names we expected at the start to be starring for Black. But at the same time, they're on 5, 4 and 3 respectively. Overall, the teams-wise, Gold of 69 disposals to 33, just to show the dominance at the moment at first quarter. And keeping in mind the sort of game this is, I'm sure there'll be tweaks made across the lines to bring back some different matchups.
Certainly will. We saw a lot of players being thrown around into various positions last week. Players starting forward, ending up in the midfield, and then spending a bit of time in defence as well, just to test them out and see what sort of skills they've got in each of those positions, and generally to keep the game fairly competitive as well.
Yeah, we had a similar start, didn't we, last week, where it was Black who were the ones that raced away to a quarter-time lead, and in this instance it's Gold. So I have no doubt that it'll sort of come back around, and as you said, the matchups will change and shift. Yeah.
And Boothman was looking very serious there, Dex. Normally she's got a big smile on her face.
Yeah, yep. She's that's as serious as I've ever seen her look before. She's did a lot of work off-season to get right. A couple of injuries to finish last year's programs, and she did manage to play in South Australia. It's a top-up player when WA played the exhibition game over there in the 19s, so it's good to see her free her arms and have a swing in this program these last couple of weeks.
And Jen, what do you think the value of the 1, 2, 3 hands in black is in an intra-squad? Do you reckon it's worth a goal or two?
Just have to note for the audience that I'm sitting between two wicket keepers. And there's a lot of chatter going on behind the scenes, as you'd expect.
It is something that's always amused me. If both teams do it, does that even it out?
Yeah,
in
true.
the end, it actually is of no value to either team.
You almost see the part of me, the cheeky part of me, goes, well, then if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, what happens there?
Oh,
or if we count backwards,
it's like kicking in the breeze.
Yeah.
Kicking with the breeze,
Basketball too. They used to, one person calls 1, 2, 3, and you say Bulls.
Yep.
Chicago Bulls in the 1980s. Now you all say the whole lot.
Yeah.
It's about being loud, isn't it?
And
And when
someone
they look at each other and say, what are we actually saying on 3?
Yeah. Well, some of them don't say
Are we
1,
on
2,
three
3.
or
They'll
after
say
three?
something else and then get a reply. So it's the sort of things you talk about when you're here on a Wednesday night.
There's been a few things, me coming from such a cricket background into being much more around the footy change rooms and stuff, that have really opened my eyes to a few different how sports do things differently, have their real traditions.
I can tell
but
you,
they're
working
different.
in netball, there's a lot of things that I scratch my head with as well, having spent a fair bit of time with cricket and footy. So
Just so you know, Jen Wallace, of course, kept wicket for Australia. Dave Lindsay kept wicket for the state 23s. So very knowledgeable players in other sports as Fenton gets us going forward for Black. It's Locke coming the other way for goal. A couple of handball chains. Should see the ball sit for Henry. Can't quite get a handle and getting harassed by now by Fenton. It's racing. The West Coast Eagles, future West Coast Eagles player, getting some pressure on the kick forward. Bukanowski getting the ball forward in this case. No, this is Sims, my apologies. Henry coming the other way. Back feet to Michaela Rogers. Mookie, as she's affectionately known by friends and family. Tompkin sweeps in there. A couple of Claremont players combined. Dodd from Subiaco leading the pack for gold. Nadia Brown, the East Fremantle product, has held her up. Trying to get out of the pack now again is Sims. He's Perth. She gives to Ali Noakes. East Fremantle misses her foot with this one. Allows Tonkin to get her third kick in under 30 seconds. It's gone towards Reach again. Reach finds Haynes. Haynes stripped of it by Hall. Gets it to Blurton. It goes over the back. Trouble now. Black does lead this ball back, and it's Liddington that escorts it over the line for a behind.
it's interesting. I think last week, Degs, you mentioned that the girls were allowed to soccer last week. They're not allowed to soccer in Rogers Cup, and there was good opportunity there for Dodd to probably sink the boot into it and gain about 20 metres at one stage, but didn't do it. And I guess having played on Wednesday night with soccering, going back to the Rogers Cup on the weekend and not being allowed to soccer, now they've got to change the mindset again, because they're permitted to do so here this evening if they want to. Blurton, strong again, gets the hand pass away through the hands of Fitzgerald. There's a soccer, right on cue. Must have the earpiece in down there.
It's from Lucy Greenwood.
Did a good job. Great bit of work again from Fitzgerald. Brushes aside the tackle, fires on goal, but just misses to the right. But she's a player of quite some promise. We loved her work last week, and she started today very nicely.
There's lots of like about just busting through in that situation, isn't there? Just that thirst for goals. Liddington starts Black to Haynes. Nearly a good one overhead. How will the umpires see this one? Touched and over. Jamie Henry, friend of the umpires, hands this ball back. You'd think so.
No Greg Gilby here tonight, Dex. I was disappointed. I thought Greg might be here on a Wednesday night.
I reckon wherever Greg is, he'd probably be umpiring or training to be an umpire or helping an umpire train. So I suggest he's coaching young umpires tonight. Trying to get through here is Brown. Can only get as far as Rayson in this case. Ball bouncing around half back now. A short handball from Reach to Fenton. Fenton gets it up in the air and Boothman's able to connect. She turns very quickly on Gamble. Steps inside. Locke approaches her. A little fend off was okay. But excitement building here. It's Britton. Back feed to Fenton. She's followed up and connects ahead of the play. Great work. This is Bukanowski. She gets the ball deep. She's gone a little wide with it, but it's okay. It's in the hands of Athena Mendoza. Nice build up. Still a long way to go. Kick's okay. Shallow to the pocket in the end. It sort of faded towards. It's Michaela PT having to do the work in there. First bit of work for her today. Very clear that we got her name wrong last week and just asked us to call her Michaela PT. Instant feedback. It's very good, the ladies. Just let you know, little paddle's okay. Second paddle from Marsden. Picks it up. Cripps can't quite get it. Mendoza again. Ball ricochets out. This is Jade Mead gone forward. Tackled by Cripps. No Pryor. Swooping in Nelson Marsden. Been really busy. Handballs down the line. Back to Mendoza. 3 kicks in a minute. Nearly getting this one's Pollard, the 14-year-old. Harper Gamble. In defence for goal to Locke. Can't quite get a kick away. Harassed by Mead. Mendoza threatening again. Handball towards her. It's chopped off. Little toe poke from Cooper. Fenton's worked forward. Little handball through's okay. Can't quite get through Brown. Locke wraps her up. Ball still in play. It's Pollard getting out of the way of a teammate down there for goal. Brown pushing and shoving. Kick from Fenton again smothered. Desperate but messy at the top of 50 for Black. Harper Gamble stands up in the tackle. Little handball goes nowhere. Fenton again. She can't quite get enough shin on this to get it forward. Michaela PT. Handball towards the top of 50 again. Black hanging on. Trying to build up a shot. Paddled out towards Tonkin, and Tonkin's able to relieve goal for the moment.
Sends it to a one-on-one on the wing. Fitzgerald and Noakes, a couple of very good players there, and Noakes did well. Held front position and then socket off the deck to make a little bit of ground. Here's A. Thompson. Gets that kick away. It's been rebounding off the shins of a teammate in the end. Might end up with a stoppage. Another hand pass comes out once more. Dodd goes back to get it after the initial fumble. Threads the hand pass through to Piezza Thompson again. And she does get on the boot this time. It's a good long kick. Gets it over the back. Hall can run onto it. Oh, the bounce at the end wasn't great, but it did come back to her again. And then she missed with the boot. Gets another opportunity. Hand pass over the top to no one in particular. It's been turned over, and O'Donnell turns it back into the corridor. Socket again. Pekvanoski in towards the middle. Fenton comes up. Nice collect beneath the knees. And then long towards half forward. Almost the juggling mark. Not finished off. Locke is in there again. Hard ball to be won once more. Boothman applying the tackle. Brown pops it out. Little kick forward from Fish was blocked. Locke into space. Rayson can get down and pick it up, and she's got a player breaking on the outer wing.
It's wonderful vision to see that player running in laterally, and Tompkin. She's being pursued by Sim. Further forward to Fitzgerald. Sees Noakes coming. Little fend off is good. Kicks okay too. Connects with Mia Pappas ahead of the play. Pappas tries to drop a short one, and coming up hard was Chirichilli. She can't quite get this on the chest. Handball free now to Lee. Lee has a little look. Pops it on the ground in the end. Noakes is trying to get it out of there as desperately as possible. Livingston gets that job done. And as far as Henry. Rayson and Henry proving a real issue for Black in their transition as Bushby gets a flying shot under pressure on the left foot. And her foot to shin ratio was very high in shin in this case. And it goes out of bounds.
It was good pressure from Black then, wasn't it? Because otherwise she was lining up to slot that between the big posts. She'd eyed it off.
Definitely had her eyes on 6 points for goal.
So the boundary umpire comes in the 10 metres, tosses it back in, pretty much to the corridor. Brown roving in front. It's a little clearing kick, but puts it into a very dangerous spot. Bushby can't quite find the handle, tries to connect with Cripps, Swan's teammates, but Black are able to clear. Towards our broadcast side, running towards the footy shearing. Couldn't take it in the one grab. Henry stands up strong in the tackle. Dodd, I like the way she drives her legs when she picks up the footy. Gives off the hand pass, gets it away to Fisher. But her kick's been turned over and the intercept mark taken by Holly Gill. Enjoyed her ruck work in the first quarter, this time playing a bit behind the ball. As the loose footy will be collected by Haynes. Normally a good kick of the football. Gets good distance on this one, and Black are going forward. Awkward kicking style from Cooper, but it works out effectively, although the mark's been dropped. Problems now for Black. Britton just dragged off her kick. It's a good tackle. Harper Gamble from the Morris Footy Club gives a hand pass away to Macaulay. Sweeping through. Very nice pick up there from Grassinus. She was impressive in defence last week. Haven't called her name too often so far tonight. Henry in the middle on that left side. Sidesteps one, decides to hand pass out wide to Dodd, who will cut back inside. As a player leading for her at centre half forward, the kick has too much carry on it. Almost gets inside the arc. Bushby follows up well. Kicks long towards full forward. Getting across. Machevska already has a goal to her name. Now has to defend. Applies a good tackle. That kick goes nowhere. Blurton, dangerous from here, snaps the goal. Doesn't need too many opportunities up there to Maisha Blurton. And it's another goal from Gold. And their work moving that ball inside 50, Jen, was very good. And Blurton on the end of it once more.
Yeah, and she's loving playing this evening. Already had 5 shots on goal, 2-3 for her at the moment. Again, just great pick up below her knees. It's clean, which buys her a little bit of extra time. And then her ability, like her striking is so clean, isn't it? It's a very natural kicking style, very natural looking player, in fact.
Would have kicked a lot of footies in the park with Dad, I reckon.
Yeah, it just seems that way, doesn't it?
And Mum too. And I reckon Grandma has got a fair kick on her as well. It was nice to see the celebrations with the Gold forwards involve a player from, there's 5 players involved there from 5 different clubs. It's great to see. Gill's in the air again. Bushby gets a run at this, leaves it behind. Gill has to do her own roving. Fenton trying to extract it. Gill now trying to shovel it forward. Britton paddles back. Brings Shearing into it. Shearing's handball back into the middle. All bouncing around again with some dangerous players like Dodd and Cripps. Cripps' kick, if she meant that, that's wonderful work to Tomkin, who's really running that wing well. Long, deep entry from such a small player. Gets over back to Mirchevska. Wonderful play from Gold and great vision from a couple of players there. Olivia Cripps. And that ball in was absolutely perfect. And professional routine from the Subiaco small forward. One in clever space behind. She shoots on goal. Goal umpire doesn't move a whisker. And he's going to give it to the double-fingered. All clear. Plenty going on here for Gold. I just think Black just bouncing the ball around the middle of the ground a little bit in defence. Need to get a clearing kick and get some run, of course. Missing Jordan Thompson today. Ruled out late with a head clash last week. Emily Cleaver with a concussion in last week's game as well. So 2 big players out for the Black team. Cleaver would be leading the ruck today. Thompson would be centre half forward and relieving her in the ruck. And of course, Charlize Thompson as well. Machevska's got 2. Charlie Thompson, 2, part of the Thompson twins. Not a twin, of course, 2 years apart, but hasn't been able to take part either. She hurt her ankle.
The Thompson twins weren't twins either.
No, I just don't want to give anyone false hope. They're also both female in this case. I don't think the Thompson twins can claim that. Shearing's in the middle. This ball's going towards Black's end again. In the hands of Dodd. She's been really busy. Kevsky gets a whack in the nose. She's good enough to stand on her feet and try to drive this ball forward. Black then a clean run of it. Boothman feels like she's been harassed. Umpire ball it up.
Jen, it's probably the decision making as much as anything from the Gold, isn't it? The way they've actually connected their forward attacks. They've found space and found that open player whenever needed.
Yeah, and that last goal was the perfect example of that, wasn't it? Spreading out wide, seeing that option out there, taking it, and then a great, taking the grass, running with it and getting a good momentum kick forward that landed in the path of Machevska as a small forward. It was in her advantage as to where the ball was coming down on its drop.
Can Black connect here? Whistle sounds. It's a throw, I think. It's going to be coming back. There was an umpire just away on the right of the screen who's just come in and spotted that. He's one of our umpires with the state 19s, I reckon, Dex. He did a pretty good job over there. Big number 43.
Big fan of this group of umps.
It's a free kick for goal.
Keep a game flowing beautifully.
Fisher into the corridor. Harper Gamble. And they want to switch. Heading out towards the outer side. No drop there from the Blacks, but Cripps turns with a good hand pass. McCauley breaking down the wing. Good kick and a nice mark from Fitzgerald. Just continues to impress. The kick towards the 50-metre arc. Great attack on the football from Black, and they'll clear well. O'Donnell doing a good job there. Seeing it back in the middle of the ground, but Gold set up better behind the football. McCauley will get a second opportunity. Last time hit Fitzgerald. This time just pushed off a kick a little. Noakes will get in the way, but Fitzgerald is not easily beaten. She shrugs a tackle on the way out as well. This kick towards half forward. Good stretch. Mark not quite completed there by Reach. Black are able, well, at least to attempt to clear, but it's going to keep coming back in. Gold go long towards full forward. Sinclair the target. Nicely done there by Liddington, who won the contest in the air, controlled it at ground level, and then the kick is to a good position on the way out. Britton now chips short and finds Fenton.
Little Britain to a Peel teammate in Fenton. Fenton's kick's chopped off by Locke, looking for Shearing. Block from Swans. Looking in the corridor, aggressive kick, why not? It's worked for them. This time Fenton's able to defend it. She's 2v1 now. Tompkin goes without it. Madison Dodd just waits for support. Ends up in the hands of Nelson Marsden. Noakes sent down to strengthen up that back line's done a fairly good job. Rogers feeds her Claremont teammate Rover. And Tompkin. Liddington again. Stood up well in this quarter. Lee trying to get some movement going here through O'Donnell. O'Donnell wants to change lanes. Eventually gets the ball to where she intended originally. Bounding away now. Lovely play at Black. What was that play? Dave Lindsay just consulted the book.
She switched teams on us before the game.
She did, and switched numbers too. So it looks like Sim got this ball away. Ricocheted off a foot and out of bounds. So Black got a bit of time to get some players ahead of this ball. Just underneath her, Zippy Fisher's checked back into the game. Need some run from her. There are twins, of course, out there, Dave Lindsay. There's the Cooper twins. This is Olivia Cripps. Looking on the far side of the ground now as Haynes tries to manufacture some forward entry. Goal to set up again well here. Coming through the other way was okay from Mead. Looks to be Gill getting a leg in there. For those of you listening on the East Coast, travelled 5 hours to be here today. Pemberton's a long way away and her farm's further. Great Southern, Western Australia. Michaela PT. There's some little tricks inside, but eventually might have tried one trick too many, and the pressure from Chloe Shearing, who's usually a back centre half, running centre half back from West Perth. Used the ball quite well as a backman. She certainly used it well there as a high forward connect, and she hits Georgia Haynes inside 50. Now Haynes is a beautiful kick of the ball. This kick is a fairway 8 though. She hit 40 metres. You have to kick it all at 45 to score. Deliberate approach. Does get up and under it. They'll fight for it on the line. It was a couple of metres short. Might have even had an argument for a mark in the end, Grassinus. Hooked it back towards Georgia Hayne. Defending up the middle of the ground rather than wide. Haynes can have a little look around. She feeds a runner in Fenton. She's been shy of kicking or taking a shot so far today. This time she doesn't take a shot either. And the ball is, well, in the end, Pollard was able to take the mark, but knocked off her boot. Early call a play on. Zippy Fish involved. Shearing shovels the ball forward again. Doing some work in defence now as a winger is Bushby. And Bushby's rebounding kick favours Michaela Rogers. Team or opposition ruck in Gill gets there. Shearing again. Had a couple of good minutes. And this ball stay in? No, it cannot. Georgia Shell forced to camp under it as it carries over line. It looks like Megan McCauley or Meg McCauley will get this back into play.
Jen, we've seen both teams on occasions try to defend by kicking back up the middle into the corridor, which
exactly
always makes it a little bit nervous for the coaches.
Oh, it's speaking of the State Academy, it is not something that we train our potential Waffle W and AFLW stars to do.
Ball on the wing, just a little toe poke forward from Pappas. Going to try to collect as well. Pops the hand pass up, just batted forward out of mid-air. It was Nelson Marsden. And Cripps runs out of space. In fact, it's not Cripps, it's Hall. Close to the boundary, and it will be run over with 90 seconds left on the clock.
It was a good Cripps impression though from Hall.
It was, wasn't it?
Arched her back and had a crack. Getting through the small spaces. Minute 22 to play.
Jim, what's your thoughts on the boundary umpire coming in the 10 metres and throwing it back towards the corridor?
I think it's good that it clears it away from the boundary line, especially when you've got the last touch rules and those sorts of things. It's better to be further in. The only thing being is when we then get stuck along that corridor as well. So, you know, I think it's needed in a sense, but maybe it needs to be slightly shorter as well. Henry, not quite the 10 metres in.
Henry taking on the player on the mark. Hand pass to Bushby, who just took her eye off the ball. And that slowed Gold's progress down a little bit, although they still have time to get it in. Great smother applied there by Black. They clear the area, and that's a very good mark. But she's had a good few minutes here, Shearing. I was talking, Diggs, to an ex-Footy Commission employee, young Matt Hanson, earlier today, who said as a short fella who likes it in tight, he doesn't like the boundary umpire coming in that far. He wants it in tight congestion.
Yep.
He's only about 4'3", Matty, so Hall towards full forward. Long kick. Sinclair tried to work away in front, couldn't quite get to take the mark. Blurton was lurking again, but Black are good enough to clear. Haynes coming across to apply pressure, but Bushby Showed a bit of composure, good judgment in the air, and that'll be 50. The player just standing off to the side in Holly Gill got very interested as Bushby was about to play on. Had her body in there, didn't just stick the hand in there, had the whole body in there trying to make the smother, and you can't do that. So it's a 50-metre penalty, which brings Bushby a lot closer than where she thinks she might be. She's going to go right into virtually the top of the goal square. There's no one standing the mark at the moment. The siren has sounded, so it is a kick after the siren to give Gold a 40-point lead at half-time. It's probably a good thing we didn't see where that kick ended up, because judging by her reaction, she smashed it straight into the player on the mark.
Another player that didn't go through her routine at the top of the goal square. Probably the only place on the ground that most players won't practice kicking a goal from.
True.
More comfortable on the boundary line than dead in front.
Half time, Gold lead it by 34 points. They've played very nicely in the first half.
Tanner Lee is doing a Dermot Burton impression
running
there, through the huddle.
We'll take a break here at half time. On the other side, we'll look at some of the highlights from the first half, and we'll have another look at Bo McDonald as well. Why not? Let's listen to Bo talk a little bit later again. So half time, 34 points is a lead. Back shortly here on Front Row Screens.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
It's the half-time break. Gold and black, the WA under-17 squad intrastate. The NAB under-17s championships for AFLW. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degrott and Jenny Wallace, your commentary team here this evening. This is game 2. Game 1 played last Wednesday night. Just 1 point separated the teams last week, but it's 34 points the difference at half-time here this evening, with black leading 6-5 to 1-1. As we look at the huddles and now turn our attention to the first half highlights. And Fitzgerald kicked a nice goal early for Gold, Jen, and we have been very impressed by her, not only tonight, but last week as well. But what else has caught your eye over the course of this evening?
Yeah, look, obviously the ability to get at multiple scoring attempts for Gold tonight, that's a change from last week. They've been inside 50 24 times versus 9 tonight so far. So black needing to tweak a few things over the half-time break. Bushby's been excellent. Fitzgerald, as you just mentioned, not only 1 goal to her name, but 13 disposals. Dodd and Henry have both been busy for Gold as well. And then with black, it's really been Fenton trying to get some momentum going for them. She's got 10 disposals so far. Reach and Haynes, the other 2 that are probably of note so far tonight when you look purely at statistics. But you get the sense with black that they just, every time they try and surge the ball forward, they just can't show enough composure or get clean targets enough. And then when it becomes a contested ball, Gold at the moment just seems to be a bit more hard at the ball, a bit more intent. They're turning up in greater numbers. You're often seeing 1 black with 3 gold sort of coming in, and then they win position and turn it over and away they go.
Tex, quick question for you, for girls of this age group, just looking a little bit east. South Australia last night named their best and fairest winner of the league competition in the SANFL. 15-year-old Lauren Young, who didn't play the game against Western Australia, then came in and played the 2 in Melbourne and won their MVP medal. She's now won the MVP for the entire competition. There's 1 or 2 players in the AFLW that are having a similar sort of impact over their first year or 2 as well. It just speaks volumes for the sort of talent that is coming through with these girls that have played footy all their lives.
It is, and Courtney Rowley could have easily won one a couple of years ago, but at the moment,
best and fairest winner for Peel that year.
Yeah, she was, but at the moment our umps really like the rucks, and our rucks get a ton of votes, which is really, I think a lot of the male footballers would like to know that rucks and forwards are getting votes, but so at the moment it's our older rucks that get a lot of attention in the AFLW. But yeah, the 15-year-old talent what you've got to realise is the girls at 15 have actually played since they're 4 and 5, and it's no surprise that they can handle the ball.
It's the really amazing part of having some...
Speaking about handling the ball, sorry, Jen.
Yeah, of having the changes with pathways, with the AFLW coming in. It's that you can be it if you can see it mentality that we're seeing across a lot of female sports now, but especially with AFLW, you're seeing the numbers increase so much with playing and participation rates. And as you said, they're playing through a pathway since they're 4. So by the time they're 15, think about when they're going to be 18 and 19 and 20. It's a really exciting time.
Beautiful Eddie, she can coach program as well.
You've got Ella Roberts, who could have easily been given the best on ground medal in the grand final last year as a 15-year-old, then won the MVP medal for the WA 19s as a 16-year-old this year, and then Lauren Young in South Australia. We were told when we went to Adelaide that, we're missing a young girl. She's 15, but she's pretty good. And then she dominated their next 2 games and obviously has dominated the league competition.
Ella Roberts too, 28 possessions, 26 contested. Happy 15th birthday.
All right, didn't she? One man we have heard a lot from this year is Beau McDonald and his work with the pathway in the Waffle Women's and the State Academy in WA. He's come inside because it's a bit chilly outside, so he's sitting next to us. But let's check out some of his work this year here on Front Row Screens.
My love for football when I was very young. I grew up in a sporting family. The girls went to netball on Saturday and the boys went down to Bassendean Oval and we watched Swan Districts. My uncle's a Gary Sidebottom. He played over 100 games at Swan Districts. My pop Wally Sidebottom played state football and also for Swan Districts. I didn't play football till year 12 at the Upper Swan Junior Footy Club. I went down there in year 12 and played in the under 18s, and I found myself at Swan Districts Colts the next year, and then the year after that I was lucky enough to make it to the Brisbane Lions. In 2001, I think to be part of history was fantastic. I really remember getting a handball out to Bossy when he's kicked that goal from the boundary line, and I remember pushing over the contest. I think John Barnes was my opponent. When I seen Bossy flash past, I remember giving him the handball and sort of folding in behind him, and I was directly behind him, and he's kicked the ball and it's just gone through, and I remember running back to the centre thinking, this isn't over. This is such a good football team we're playing against. There was no room to relax until that siren went.
And they've beaten the champs.
When I retired in 2008, I spent some time at the Brisbane Lions, assistant coaching role, worked behind the scenes in some welfare roles and some ruck coaching. I was there for 3 years, but then I moved to the Pilbara. I worked with young Indigenous males up there, trying to get them to go to school and helping them out with their lives. And then I got the opportunity to coach the North West Academy through the West Australian Football Commission, and I started to really enjoy coaching that young group, and I felt like I had a responsibility to give kids the opportunity that I had. I enjoyed my time coaching in the country, but getting back into high performance was what I really wanted to do, and the opportunity was there in female football. And I moved down to Perth to be involved in the female talent pathway to coach under 18 state girls.
Beau's application really stood out to us because of his experience in the coaching world. So it wasn't so much that he'd played AFL, in fact that's limited to it. It's his ability to connect one-on-one with people. He knew what it took to play and coach at the highest level. He'd worked at community level in Aboriginal and community engagement, so we knew he was the right package to move a group of people from where they were to where they needed to be.
The girls are, they're a joy to coach. We're really just there to give them the best opportunity, that if you get that call up to the AFLW, you can do your best when you get there.
He understands that each player needs to make their own progressions. So what drives him forward is driving a player forward. His ability to move a player with their understandings through the developmental stages and pathways would be his best attribute. We're really lucky to have support of fantastic sponsors like Kia, because they allow us to drive the game forward. Beau's been able to really drive female football, and our staff love driving the Kia cars. We've got staff that have since bought their own Kia cars as well, which is terrific. To have Kia as a sponsor to allow us to cart our people, our equipment, and to basically power and drive what we're doing inside female football is terrific.
We're trying to drive a culture here within our academy group. We also want to produce Waffle W players and good community members and people that go back and give in some way to the community. And let the girls know that whether they go on in their football or they go into a workplace, all these things that we're trying to instill in our culture here, they're transferable to the next place that you go, and it's just all part of being a good person.
the work of Bo McDonald, and not surprisingly, Dean Margetts has made his way out to the middle again. He's having a chat. I think he's telling a few stories. Last week he was signing autographs out there, Degs, and today haven't seen him get the pen out just yet, but he's got the goal umpires laughing. So
just so you know,
nice work, Dino.
You bag him, you don't bag him. You big him up each week, and each week he chips me for it. Just want to make sure.
To say, Bo and I were commentating on an AFL game on the weekend. We actually talked him up. We were kind to him on Saturday. So
I think he should be talked up. He's good at what he does. He's a 360 game AFL umpire, and he's umpire's coach with the West Australian Footy Commission. And each year, the Footy Commission says, what we're going to do is we're going to start a new competition, and we're going to move this program forward, and we're going to stretch this program out. And you go, Dean,
you're looking after all of them.
Can you find 25 new high-level umpires, please?
Well, we need to take a break to pay a few of those bills for the Footy Commission, and on the other side, we'll get the second half here for Black and Gold, the NAB AFLW Under 17 Championships here in WA.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Abigail Bushby just jogging off the ground. The rest of her team warming up behind her. So might have overhydrated perhaps at the half-time break. She's going to head up into the rooms, and we need a few extra footies perhaps. So
that'll warm the hearts of Black to see her run off the ground. She's had a good
do
day.
with that. 34 points is the lead at the moment in this contest. So it'll be interesting to see what the two sides do to change a few positions around and test a few players out in a few different areas and see what they might be able to produce.
She got some tips from the coaching box too that came through. Ellie Noakes, a bit more to do this quarter.
She did that last week, didn't she?
Yeah, she'll be the third position she's played today as well. She started forward, had to go back. She's going to go into the midfield at the moment. Shearing will go back behind the ball too, so Black will try to generate some run from her. Only a young player. Pretty exciting the way she can hit the ball. The other one I'm excited about the way they hit the ball, and I know Bo McDonald is too, is Hero O'Donnell. She absolutely hits the ball at speed and likes to run and kick the ball. I'd like to see a bit more of that too. Athena Mendoza's threatened.
We're back into the knee slaps.
Forward.
We had this at half-time last week as well, Jen, didn't we? And a couple of girls played that game very well. Talk us through some of the stats from the first half, Jen.
Sure thing. So for gold, it is Bushby at the top, 14 disposals, 10 kicks, 4 handballs, and she's also made 3 tackles. And Fitzgerald, she's been really impressive. 13 disposals to her so far, 1 goal, 2 behinds. Dodd, the third highest possession getter so far for gold with 12, and Henry as well with 12. I think Blurton, she's been really dangerous up forward. 5 scoring shots for her, 2 and 3 she is currently. And then with Black, it's Fenton, Reach, Haynes and Becht Vinosky, who are sort of doing the dominant work for them. With granted, they still need a fair bit to go to bridge this gap. It's 152 disposals to 100 in Gold's favour to show just how much they've had the ball. They've been inside 50 25 times versus 9. So Black really need to get their hands on the ball, really need to spend some time in their forward half over this second half to try and bridge this gap.
Madison Dodd, Degs, we mentioned it during the call, and I know Bo's a big fan of people who pick up the ground ball and drive their legs, and that's exactly what she does at every contest.
Yeah, she keeps her balance really well. There's a number of players that you get to either play with or watch play and develop, across your experiences, both male and female, and that just don't lose their feet and they keep themselves in the contest. And I think Maddie Dodd's one of those players. She's not as short as she plays in terms of her strength over the footy. But I just think opposition find it really hard to knock her off her lines, and I think that gives her a couple of different chances to get the ball in contest. And she's reasonably clean as well, like Matty Hansen. Although Matty Hansen, the ground below his knees is most of his height if you brought him up earlier. But no, I think just that she keeps her feet, which enables her to drive her legs, and she's quite clean as well. So exciting player.
You've seen her, Jen, a bit at Subi as well.
Yeah.
How's she progressing down there?
Like, really well, and she's a leader amongst the group. She's very passionate about her football, and that comes across in the way that she speaks and the way that she plays her football. She's willing to do the extra work, so she's one of those players that will do the extra running to be in position, even if you don't use her. So it's one of those sort of characteristics that you'd love to clone. I know on the weekend she copped a nasty on her hand, had a huge bruise where someone else had stepped on her and sort of ground her hand into the ground, and she just went off, got it sorted, and went back into the foray, and again puts her head over the ball at all those contests. And as you mentioned, I saw her playing wet weather footy, and ability to keep her feet was something that was noticeable.
Georgia Haynes, number 1 for Black, just jogged off, and she's obviously a very smart player, Dex, because she went and stood right next to Trent Cooper, and she's on the bench, and she's chatting with Trent Cooper right now, so she's keen to learn in the next few minutes while she has a spell before heading back out there.
Trent and Daniel played together at Peel.
Yeah, I think they would have, wouldn't they?
Trent Cooper played some waffle footy.
There she is.
He's an inaugural Peel player, Trent Cooper. That's Georgia Haynes and Juliet Williamson. Hannah Hong with the board, Swan District's S&C. Zippy Fish and Angelique Rayson having a chat in the middle. I'll tell you one thing we're promoting at the moment is happy players, because there's nothing but smiles on the WA girls' faces at the moment.
That's what you want to see, enjoying your footy, playing it hard, playing it fair, and smile on your face.
Rayson and Gill will be the rucks to start. Gill again with a good leap in the centre bounce, gets it down to Fish, who sends them long towards half forward. Be nice to see Black get on the scoreboard quickly in this quarter like they did at the start of the game. Fish has followed up her own work, tries a little toe poke. Hall blocked that. Fenton overruns, Hall comes back and just hacks it forward. Gill positioned herself well behind the ball. Good pressure from Henry, affects the kick, but works out well for Black. Fish with a little hand pass away to Fenton. Wants to go virtually straight up the middle. Kicks to the advantage side of her teammate. Britton's there, leaves it behind. Pushed off the kick on that occasion for Black, and now Sinclair, who's playing a defence, just turns and kicks hurriedly. Fenton can come inside with a hand pass, and they'll set it up again. This time Shearing getting into that dangerous position at the top of the goal square, but Gold have positioned themselves well once more, and they're able to clear. Sinclair with a good long kick. Henry takes on the bounce. She's got a couple to beat. Little hand pass over the shoulder, hoping for the boundary line, or perhaps someone to touch it before it gets over the line. McCauley's there, dragged off her hand pass, and they've worked it okay. Henry will get the clearing kick here for Gold.
Intercepting Ellie Noakes, plays on immediately, tries to kick it over where the ball just came from. Locke leads in that race, and she's happy to professionally fumble this over the line.
Jen's had enough of this game. She's turned the TV on next to her as well. I don't know what's going on there, Jen.
Tap the touch panel to get started.
What's on tonight?
Ghost, because that's a touch panel and it's just turned on by itself.
Hopefully Fremantle have cleared their screen and we won't see any private information.
If we do, we won't be sharing it. Rayson pulls this out of the ruck. Long kick out of there is marked by Henry. Under pressure from Liddington. Jamie Henry, been busy, loves a contested footy. Enjoying her time in the midfield. Defender at Swan District's footy club in the league team. Through Kayla Rogers' hands. Nadia Brown quick to pick this up, but she's ripped off the footy by Rogers. No prior. A little ball up. Virtually back where we started this quarter. You can see the bullseyes just behind the umpire. Riley Hall shapes herself up behind the footy. No jump there from either ruckman really in the end. Racing on the ground. Using strength to great effect. Gill was a good tackle. She wins her own ball. Kicks it around the corner. Leading at this footy is Gold. Fish just waits in front, picks this ball up cleanly. Clean set of heels. Dodges left and right. Long ball in. BT had to stand under that one. Trying to work through to get this ball now is Cooper. She can't find the handle. Doing a bit of Gold's defensive work for him as Fitzgerald has been thrown back. Pulls this ball into the corridor.
Exciting Zippy Fish. Even after that long run, she was still able to get a good kick away. See a few of the girls occasionally who spent their petrol tickets. Great chase and tackle from Brown. She's run down her opponent there and caught Michaela Rogers napping. So Brown wants to switch towards the broadcast side. Just floated the kick over the defenders nicely. Shearing towards half forward. Nice build up from Black. Can play on here from Boothman. Kick their only goal so far tonight. Almost to full forward, and Sinclair. Saw her last week, Jen, do some nice work at full forward. Now starting this quarter well at full back.
Yeah, interesting to see that versatility to be able to play at both ends of the ground and to read the ball so well in both instances.
Good mark from Rogers. Pulls the kick inside. Finds her teammate, Pappas. And they've switched it well. It's a good kick and a nice stretch and mark from Van der Heever. She played quite well last week. Haven't seen so much of her so far tonight. Machevska coming from behind to support. Being pressured by Boothman. Boothman follows up with a second tackle. Ball spills out. Fenton's there to support as well. Van der Heever just farms the hand pass forward. Fish was clever there to get boot to ball nice and quickly. Up towards half forward again. Nice little one-on-one contest. Quick kick forward. Comes out of that pack by Cooper. The whistle's gone for a free kick against Gold. They were away to the races. Pushing the back free kick.
Early call from the ump. It's a good one.
So it's Fitzgerald, who was forward for the first half, now playing in defence. It's going to be a free kick to Black, who it's Olivia Cooper, who's waiting for the footy.
Zippy Fish has been busy this first 4 minutes, racking up a handful of disposals across the field already.
Olivia Cooper now towards full forward to a contest. No one can mark. Nicely done there on the turn by Beck Vanoski. All the way to the goal square. Gold with the extra numbers down here. Running herself into trouble was Locke. Ball comes out, barging away through Mead. And the umpire says couldn't get rid of that one in the tackle. Will be penalised and Gold will take the free kick. It'll be Locke.
Locke's come alive in defence. Gets it out to full favours Hall with the footy. It's pretty good to keep that in front. Pulls the ball a little bit more central. Talked about that a little bit tonight. The girls are kicking ball at the top of 50 in the corridor. Allows Black to have a little look at this. Working hard, Meg McCauley. Fish again. Confronted by Cheska. Ball bouncing free. Clever dodge from Cooper there. Flashing player through. Collected her Fitzgerald. Beelines the football, Fitzgerald. Or Hall again. Might have had just an arm grab just as she tried a handball by Haynes, and the resultant free kick. Incorrect disposal. Georgia Haynes gets a chance to send Blacks in again. Played in the forward half for Black. Just having a little trouble connecting inside 50 at the moment. Defence is good. Pollard goes through without the footy. Kayla PT tries to sweep on this. She sweeps on the second one. The quick kick's clever. Worked off the footy. Good work by Liddington. Pushby away. Ball continues to work. This is Chichili. Chirichili staying alive in this contest. Short handballs, keeping the defensive pressure from Georgia pretty relevant. Reach isn't able to take the chest mark behind the play. Thrown to the ground in the end. Donald tries to clear a path for herself. Bouncing around. Middle of the ground here. Coburn Arc, hosted tonight by Fremantle Footy Club. Hall gets this ball forward now into the dangerous territory. You can see Tamasha Blurton lurking behind it. Abby Reach just trying to clear the ball, not far enough. Meg McCauley puts it back in. Tessa Liddington has a couple of different goes to clear it. The umpire had a little think about kicking in danger. It's in the hands of Bushby. On her left foot, should bounce in the goal square and run on. It does. End over end. Strikes the goal umpire on the knee. He managed to keep his feet in time to signal the goal. Abby Bushby.
Just almost a run against possession, I suppose. Black had some chances. They just didn't get any reward for their footy up in there. Attacking 50, did they? That first 5 or 6 minutes where they were continually trying to get into the inside 50, they just couldn't get value. And then this one swings the whole way around, and Bushby able to sort of score. She's 45 out and runs it on through the goal square. Again, just impressive, not trying to overuse it, just decides, well, I'm here, there's no one in front of me, I'll take on the goal.
There comes a time in the night when you're commentating about 7:05 on a Wednesday evening that just feel you could do with a little bit of Subway. Just feel a little bit hungry and could do with a little bite. Not much, just a small little segment of a sub.
This is a reference to talent specialist Ellie Lampkin coming into the commentary box with a Subway sandwich in each hand. And none for the commentary team. Zippy Fish getting this deep inside forward 50. This looks a lot better for Black. Bukanovski's been okay as a forward, can't quite pick it up. Holly Britton Locke's been okay too as a back. This is in the hands now. Michaela PT, she fumbles it forward. Black's diving in, trying to find a little bit of space. Gold not providing too much. Georgia Shell pushes and shoves. She's a left footer. Can't get the kick away. Sinclair now. As things just start to clog up forward here for Black. Jade Mead trying to get her handball away. Sienna Pollard tapping for Meg McCauley's benefit. Overlap run from Nelson Marsden was neat. Just missing that footy, Matilda Sims. Gold push it back. Clever in the end if it was intentional for sure. Hall's kick's okay. It's taken on the intercept by Gracie Fenton.
So Fenton to put Black almost to attacking 50 again. The back Murchevska played forward in the first half and did a great job. Now in defence, working in this contest again. Macaulay's there, ball spills out the back. Locke, her kick actually goes slightly backwards. Black applying good pressure. Making it tough for goal to get out of here. It's all stuck in a little phone booth at the moment. Locke decides to soccer it out of that area. Haynes was half a chance, beaten to the football, but applies a good tackle. And she'll get a holding the ball free kick. Diggs, it shouldn't also go unnoticed that Kate Hartwell had Subway too. And didn't offer any to managers, coaches, commentators or anyone.
The only reason I didn't mention.
And nothing to the guys who were out in the truck out the back either. They're a bit hungry. They can smell it.
I only didn't mention Kate Hartwell. She didn't have a sandwich in each hand.
True. The cameramen out on the deck as well are feeling a bit peckish too, but there's nothing for them either.
I think you've played it wrong, guys. Like, you've gone with the good banter on air. But what you should have done is whacked the headsets on them, and they would have had to talk.
You could have run downstairs and grabbed the rest of the Subway.
You can steal it off them.
Great tackling from Black. They might have earned themselves a free kick here and a shot on goal. They will. And the good piece of work being done there by Mendoza. Wants to move it on quickly. Gets it to the top of the goal square. Floating in was Britton. Doing the roving was Fish, but she's just away to the right. And a behind for Black. Their first score since the first quarter.
And all the play in their forward half, just a little messy with their last little kick. So coaches talk about caring for the first possession and the last possession, and at the moment, Black's just not doing enough with that last possession.
They're definitely not as clean as they were last week. Not making their connections as well, are they?
They're playing very tight and close together too. Very short handball, and Zampa Sinclair comes sprinting out. There's a good overhead mark taken by Michaela PT. East Perth product. Touched off the boot. Brings Georgia Shell into the game. She'll go left. Usually a good use of the football. This is a great example of a deep entry kick. Holly Britton can't quite get a handle on this. Brings Zampa Sinclair into the game. Britton now shows a clean set of heels. She'll be able to pull this over her shoulder. Is it the first goal since the first quarter for Black? Holly Britton. Coach Jenna Allomes has thrown Britton forward in what must be a terrific move. Ellie Lampkins giving herself 2 thumbs up. She did that move herself. No, she's giving thumbs up to Jenna Allomes. Great work and great persistence from Black team to score.
Absolutely, and they needed that reward, didn't they? They had the numbers around. They were surging forward. It just needed some space, and her pace then from when she picked it up, accelerated over 5 metres, gave herself a chance to straighten up and go for goal, and importantly, made it. So that's what they needed. We talked last week, guys, a little bit about what scoreboard and whether you should have it on or you should not have it on in a game like this. And Black, to me, tonight seemed to be playing in that little bit more panic state because they are behind.
So switch it off tonight?
Yeah, I wonder whether for them it'd be better to switch it off. But just continuing a conversation point from last week.
Interesting debate, isn't it?
Well, they're sticking to their plan, and they're certainly playing the game in their own half at the moment. As Gill goes up again, coming in off the wing. Sims can't take it with her. A toe poke from Pappas, something to run in the middle. This is Tompkin, tries to get front of the ball. A bit wary because Haynes is around. I would be too. Zippy Fish, toe poke. Rosie Fenton out to Macaulay, pulled off the kick nicely by Brown, trying to go through Dodd. Held up really well. There's a rolling maul, rugby union style at the moment. Players very close together, so I think Jen might be correct in a panic from Black, just causing a little bit of fumbling at the moment. To get the scoreboard, ladies. Just play footy.
So the umpire throws the ball into the air. There's that leap from Gill again. Haynes a little soccer, might follow up and get her own football. Awkward bounce for her, but she goes and collects. Normally kicks it pretty well. Gets it towards half forward. Good attack again from Britton. Looks lively up forward. Fish. Quick kick forward's been turned over. Love the kick of Georgia Shell that set up that last goal as well. Love to see the ball in her hands a little bit more often as well. Brown's had plenty of it. Dodges around an opponent and then draws the player towards her. Gets a good hand pass away. Now Mead towards half forward. Standing her ground and taking a good mark in front is Murchevska, who's had a very good night. Mentioned earlier that she started well as a forward, kicked a couple of goals, and now doing a nice piece of work there in defence. The kick inside has been dropped, which provides a real problem for goal. Haynes works very hard, hand passes backwards to a teammate and got to push in the back while doing so. So Haynes will get a free kick, and this kick might not be beyond her here. She's directly in front. She'll start her run up from about 45 out. So
the only drawback is she's probably just done 7 400-metre sprints to get the ball to this position.
She's got the white socks on tonight. Haynes doesn't quite have the carry this time, and she's pushed it to the right. So as you said, Degs, a bit of fatigue perhaps setting in there. Off hands, it's hit the right hand behind post, so we'll see a boundary throw in.
You can see Adam Jones in the back of the box for the commentary teams getting antsy. He smelt Subway.
If ever there's a man who loves Subway, he can't get enough. I've seen him on trips. He orders Subway every time. Clayton Anderson used to tell him, don't go Subway. Jonesy said, no, we have to have it.
You can hear the reverse beeper in the sound effect, Mike, as he tries to back out of the box here, get himself close to the sandwich pole. Georgia Shell, Ollie Britton coming in there and just spoiling all their funds. Van der Heever. Impressed with her last week. Gracie Fenton. Flicked out in the end. Chloe Shearing trying to bat the ball forward. Van der Heever again. You see her in the game. Of course, she's coming in the game because Blacks are playing in their forward half. And it's a neat little kick to Michaela Rogers. Mookie Rogers, one step. Nearly connects with Tonkin. Fumble, brings Reach into the game. She's good enough to hold Henry off the footy for the moment. Tiptoe kick through the stoppage from Gold. This is Grassinus, bit of run and carry. Caught in the end by Brown. Brown's a speedster. She follows up her own work. Paddles it towards a teammate. Greenwood wasn't reading the same book as she was. A couple of Blacks fall down behind the ball. Harper, part of the firefighting family. Guess who knows Harper's dad? Lee Walker. Whose dad doesn't Lee Walker know? Blacks trying to work it out. Little fumble. Staying pretty close to goal here, Gold. Chirichilli. Number of players. Jamie Henry emerged before. Held up by Tanner Lee, which is pretty clever. As Henry stepped onto her left foot. Ellie Noakes tries to go out of the air. Greenwood keeps her feet. Olivia Cripps keeps her head over the ball. Players starting to tire. All of them made a tacit agreement there that we're going to ball up and get a break. No one really trying to move that ball forward from the stoppage.
Well, Haynes for Black, she's raced up to #1 disposal getter for the Blacks, all in this third quarter. It's been very, very busy for them trying to get that momentum changed. Also made 5 tackles throughout today as well.
Looks a very natural footballer. Close to goal here for Gold. Black with a very short kick and then a longer kick to clear the area, but it's going to come back, although the mark was dropped there by Van der Heever. It's the hand pass away. Macaulay towards the pocket. Too close to the line, and we'll see a throw in left forward pocket with a couple of minutes left on the clock.
A few tired bodies out there now. That it's a tough time, isn't it? The end of the third quarter, I think mentally is some of the toughest time for the footballers. Fourth quarter, you know it's the fourth quarter, but it's third quarter, you've got to dig deep.
Rayson and Gill. Rayson does a ruck work and the follow-up. Gets good distance on this kick. There was no one on the goal line. That's going to roll through for a goal. Anjo Rayson hits another one for goal. And she's done some good things again here this evening. Daughter of the Toast. Very happy with her work.
I'm trying to give her a nickname, The Crust. It's not catching on, nor should it. It's terrible.
It is horrid. It's not a good one. That's not horrid though, is it?
Standing up straight and in that tackle and just kicking. The girls have stood up today quite well in tackles at different times. She's just trying to get a bit of something to go on her Instagram feed. A couple of players' celebrations pulled off and on this vision and put on their Facebook slideshows.
It's important to have the celebration part of it though. It actually lifts your teammates as well because you're celebrating with them.
What's a slideshow? Your profile pic, you can have a series of them, Adam, and then it can be a slideshow. Come on, mate, you're 35 years of age. You've lost touch. Michaela Rogers just strolling through the middle. Georgia Haynes puts a bit of pressure on her. Ellie Noakes nearly takes a terrific catch. Swooping on this is Cripps. Cripps goes long forward, putting a ton of pressure on the Black backs. Tanner Lee's okay. Punches it forward. Reach tries to back out of there with the footy. Cripps has followed up. Gathers the bouncing ball. Kick towards the top of the square. Why not? It's worked the last couple of times. Trying to do some work down there and getting shoved off the footy in the end was Gold. Black should be able to find the line eventually. Can't quite take it with her, Lucy Greenwood. Gold is still alive here. Abby Reach. Tackled by Grassinus. Going forward today. She gets a second chance as the siren sounds. To end the third quarter in match 2. WA AFLW 17s NAB Championship. Brought to you in WA at least by Simply Energy. Front row screens doing the job for us today, Reggie.
They are, and they're doing a wonderful job as always. Matt's leading the crew beautifully. Cameramen have done an outstanding job yet again. 39 points is the lead to Gold. We've got 1 quarter to go. Most current and a number of Footy Commission employees have taken a clip so far tonight. We'll see if we can give a few more a go in the last quarter as well. 39 points to Gold. We'll come back after these messages.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Inside the Gold huddle at three-quarter time. Jason Bloom there, just having a bit of a chat with his girls. Be pretty happy with the work that they've done so far this evening. Sitting on a very comfortable lead at three-quarter time in the second match of the AFLW intrastate matches between the Gold and Black for WA under-17s girls. Dave Lindsay, Clint Deggerbrot and Jen Wallace, your commentary team here this evening, and they've been very good throughout tonight, Jen. We saw last week Black started very well, Gold pegged them back, and then it was a great contest in the last quarter, but really pretty much from start to finish tonight it's been all Gold.
It has been all Gold. It makes me wonder whether maybe there's a few sorer bodies out there for Black. They just seem a little bit like they're lacking the same intensity they approached last week's game with. Noakes is an interesting one for me, number 29 for Black. She's quite a way down on disposals compared to last week's, where she had a really big first half and then in fact sort of got switched around to give others opportunity for the second half. Maybe there's a bit more of that as well in their Deggers, you might know. But yeah, for Black, they just don't quite seem to have that same intensity. They're playing from behind at the moment, so just a little bit flat. They need to find a way, what's the old saying, fake it till you make it, bring some energy into the game and see what they can bring in this fourth quarter. Gold just need to continue doing what they're doing. They're doing very, very well.
Mistake or two from Black, but then a couple of great bounces from the Gold forwards taking their shots as well. A couple of balls have gone end over end, and this is one of them. Just hits the goal square and just rolls the right way. You can see from Abby Bushby's reaction that she's quite happy that that's accidentally rolled in.
Yep.
And it made up for a kick on the siren that didn't quite make the distance. This is a ripper from Holly Britton, who actually flushes this as a flat, just a straight up drop punt through the middle of the ground. Doesn't go the Hulk though. She had the chance to go Hulk after that. Would have been good to see. Cheska's been very good at the front and the very back, and a bit of an 80s make her earn it from Cooper in that instance there. Been a game of highlights despite the score. It hasn't hit the high notes of last week at different times, but still some players that are really attributing themselves well.
So the Blacks just getting a few instructions from General Holmes, their coach at the moment. You're trying to rev them up and see what sort of energy she can get out of them with 1 quarter to go.
Very young team, the Blacks tonight too, with a couple of players out.
We did see Holly Britton give them a bit of a spark up forward. She's done some good things. Where's Moran? As I said earlier, just the polo required for him, despite the fact it's nearly sub-zero temperatures out there. But
he's running at a different temperature.
Well, it just shows the benefits of having the girls on their knuckles in the car park after last week's loss, doing push-ups and plank holds. Of course, he didn't do that at all. What he asked for from the girls was he talked to the whole group actually and said our kick to handball ratios a little too close, so let's kick it a little more. They've done that tonight.
And as you mentioned, they've had a lot of fun. Holly Britton with a smile on her face, having a chat with M. Boothman. Angelique Rayson, who just kicked the goal late in the quarter as well. He's going to head deep forward to start the final quarter.
One thing I've really liked today is that the players have been really conversational and instructional with each other. You can see just that chat there between a couple of players there, Harper Gamble, as she takes the wing on the far side of the ground, just getting instructions from teammates from Michaela Rogers. And a couple of different times you've seen Tamasha Blurton just put her forwards in the right place. It's just great to see these young players taking these leadership roles. And of course, Michaela Rogers isn't 17 yet.
Harper Gamble from Maris Footy Club, who have got a good little girls program up and running now in the Claremont zone. They've done a good job down there at Maris. There's a number of clubs that have been very supportive of girls footy over the last 5 to 10 years as well. Love the work of Gill in the ruck, and I reckon Bo McDonald will be very excited by that. A big fist towards centre half forward. Zippy Fish follows up, a hand pass away, gets it to Brown. Great build up from Black. Can they find a mark up forward? They can't. Sinclair does well. Trap the footy. Probably prefer to see you get a bit of angle on the kick instead of going straight up the pipe, but it's worked out okay. Little soccer kick to advantage there from the goal player in Rogers. Follows up again, hands and knees, gets the hand pass away, hoping for someone to run onto it. And a heaver, used the body well to protect the football there, keeping her opponent out of the contest. Gains a little bit of ground. Gill with a soccer kick backwards. Black being forced away from their attacking goal, and that's another very good tackle from Dodd.
Just sweated on her opponent there, Dodd. Waited to that handball to receive, and end whistle was immediately wrapped up. Gill again, this time against Chirichilli. Working at ground level to Shell and Gamble. One-time contact to the side. It was from Henry. Carried forward in the tackle, unfortunately. Was Maddie Dodd for the black team, unfortunately. Fortunate if you're in gold colours. Let's see the spread of gold. And he wants a little short one on the close side, number 17. Up the pipe, though. Reggie used that term just a moment ago. Gold done in this case, and it's Grassinus. Usually see her working the back line for West Perth well as a forward here today. Another clean pick up. She's trying to work her way out of this. It's a good tackle from Brown. Might be rewarded in the end. That's a long time to be holding the football inside. Good work from Brown to hang on that long. Wilson Marsden works the hip of Britton, trying to find some space. Falls in the hand of Shell. Does work her hand free eventually. Panofsky moving the ball forward for Black. It's met by Fitzgerald. Very busy early as a forward. It's been very good in the back line too. This is Gamble. It's the ball on her wing. Really fierce handball towards Nelson Marsden, and it was equally fierce towards Emily Boothman. Jarred that ball free. The umpires made a call here. It was a little throw.
Vanderheever with the free kick. Comes out to Rogers. Drops the mark, and now she's confronted by Brown, who tackles her well. Could have almost received a free kick there. Missed a throw on that occasion as well. From Shearing. Yuse Thompson has it now at half-back. Wants to go to the outer side. Kicks into open space. Sinclair leads it for Gamble, who goes on a bit of a run and then pops the kick over the top. It's effective. Finding Hall. Very likely looking footballer is Hall. Sends this one out wide. 2-on-1. Good position for the ball to be in for Gold. Cripps over the shoulder. Gains some ground, follows up. Tries the soccer kick. Goes back and gets possession. Takes on the tacklers. Drop the footy, but then keeps on going. Little hand pass forward. Gets them inside the 50-metre arc. They continue to apply pressure, but it's going to be turned back out by Black. Spoil comes from behind, made by Chirichilli. And they'll go in again, Gold, towards full forward. Just overrunning it on that occasion. Up forward for the Gold side. Couldn't do much with it. We'll see a ball up. Jamie Henry holding the footy in, playing as a forward in the final term.
53-14. Big punch from Tanner Lee in the ruck. All in front of the contest was Gold. Bit of volleyball. Falling on the footy here is Reach. It's harassed by three separate Gold players as Haynes hacks the ball forward for Black. Leading that right chase back there was Pappas. Left the footy behind. And Heaver has injected herself into the game. Haynes just wants it going forward. And as far as Smith-Cheska. Ball bouncing around. Oh, tackle on Boothman. It's a bit of an effort from Cheska to get Boothman high as well. Boothman trying to draw a 50. A little bit of league footy at South Fremantle. Playing a trade in the Rogers Cup at the moment as Vanderheever leads us back for the Gold defence. For all intents and purposes, she looked like she's going to do the professional run out of bounds. Umpires said that she's lost control in the Jade Mead tackle. There's plenty ahead of Mead here. Young player from Peel. Kick falls short of her intended target in Matilda Sims, and it ricochets off her shin and goes out of bounds for a boundary throw. We haven't had many of those today.
Well, it's actually going to be a free kick because it's come off the boot. The umpire's come in quickly and signalled it's going to go Gold's way, so Vanderheever had to go and retrieve the football herself. The girl's already giving her a lead before she gets around behind a mark, which makes it pretty tough for her. She decides to take the game on and go straight up the middle. Puts it into a dangerous position. Nelson Marsden knocking it further on. Henry just loves to get involved. She's playing more as a forward, but she's charging in the middle to get into this one, and she's just gone to the back of her opponent this time. And the free kick will go the way of Black and be taken by Abby Reach. He was very solid in defence last week, and again today, rarely beaten in the one-on-ones. Comes to the broadcast side wing. Fenton leaves it for Brown. Brown ducks back inside, beats one, takes on the second player as well. Nice step. Just about dragged off her kick though. It's good defensive work from Gold. Right beneath our broadcast position here is Dodd. Fights hard for that football and drives the legs again. Gains good distance with her kick, but Noakes gets across. Takes a good intercepting mark at half back.
Just going back to Brown, Jen. Got some speed, got some real wheels, but it's got some super brakes too. Just able to stop at full pace and change direction. Really some terrific play, good defensive work. But she was eventually held up as defensive work. There's a pile just in front of the commentary box here. Get the restart. See the Thai players starting to play a little bit of volleyball. Gold one side, Black the other. And ball to Shell. Can't quite reel that in. It's a bit fierce from Mead. And ball's chains okay. Driving the ball forward now for Black. And back is locked, leaving it behind for Brown. Little window for Brown, gets it to Boothman. Decent build up, and she's a decent kick too. She's definitely got the goals in mind here with a little bounce. Ball doesn't come back. She'll still be thinking about the goals. Nothing wrong with that. And she's finally wrapped up by both Locke and Tyler, Fitzgerald.
Well, this is an exciting part of the game for Black. They're behind, but realistically, it doesn't really matter if they get further behind by trying to go after the win is the exciting part of the football game for them now. And they've seen, they're showing signs of getting it forward. They're just not quite, the bounce didn't go well for Boothman after she sprinted through, had a great burst, 15 metres.
Britton with the kick. Doesn't gain a lot of ground. I think it's bounced just inside the line, so we'll see a throw in this time in the forward pocket. Had some promising build-ups on occasions here, Black, but just lacking a little bit of class in the finish or the connection to the person who can have a shot for goal.
And sometimes the direction too.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of polish is lacking on that last play.
So the throw in takes place. The rucks go at it, flicks over the back. Fish was there. No space for her to operate in so far in this little contest. She's lurking again on the outside. Good tackle from Van der Heever applied. And another stoppage. Boothman showed some good speed before. Unfortunate for her, the bounce didn't come back to it. She'll be dangerous at this contest as well. Gill gets a good leap in again. Down towards Britton. Ball comes out to her again. Quick kick towards goal. This time the goalkeeper is back for Gold. It's gone well wide anyway. Ball actually bounces over the top of all players. Matilda Sim with a kick goes across the face. And Sinclair just lost the handle. She was about to clear. Might almost be a stoppage, although Cooper wants to keep this in. Does well. Gets a hand pass away. Here's Shell once more with that left boot right to the goal line. Just away to the left. Haven't seen enough of Georgia Shell, I reckon, Jen. We've been excited every time she picks it up. Left footers tend to do that to us. Always look very stylish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's been a little bit quiet, sort of trying to get her hands on the ball. That's one thing that if she can raise that level of impact onto the game, the skill is there, isn't it? And the left boot opens the game up for the rest of her teammates as well.
She's been a long time injured. She broke a collarbone in an MDS game a couple of years ago. Ended up needing a plate. Then she needed a plate out. She hurt her shoulder. It's her first game of footy in what I reckon would be over 20 months. So just finding her way. I think she's a classy player. We love the way she kicks. We found she's part of that sort of those small brigade we found a couple of years ago of high skilled players like Georgia Keane, who's not out there today. Unfortunately, she broke her leg late last year. She's finding it hard to get back. Charlie Tompkin, just as she appears here, one of our small skilled players. Gracie Fenton beats her to the ball. The tackle's okay. Rayson just muscles this ball forward. Connecting is nice and turning and showing a clean set of heels. Just loses the tackle in the end. Can't quite get enough foot on this footy. Might be okay. Trying to find the ball below the knees. Gold having a little trouble. The Dewey's in out there now. Trying to get this ball forwards in Liddington. Eventually, Black are able to get it forward. And can they connect? They can. Spakowski does okay here. It's the ball towards Boothman. Boothman gets another shocking bounce, but it's a nice bounce to Matilda Sim. Sim's handball doesn't connect as intended. Sim's got it again, but she's being tipped over to the right side of the ground, and she might have let this one go in the tackle, and Tyler Fitzgerald will receive a free kick for holding the ball.
I think we saw a very nicely timed hip and shoulder there as well. I think it was Macaulay came in very strongly for Gold. This is a good switch. Got the player free in Tompkin on the outer side. Comes back inside. Sinclair, good run to support as well. Normally a pretty good kick, Sinclair. This is no exception. Finds Bushby on the wing, who should have taken the mark on that occasion. She goes back to apply pressure against Fenton, and they lock up. And we'll see a ball up. Jem, we mentioned Sinclair before. She played forward in the first match and did some really nice things, but she's looking pretty comfortable deep in defence as well.
Yeah, she's showing her versatility, which is a really important thing to do in front of the talent scouts that are out and around, just showing that you can be of value either end of the park.
Lovely from Tonkin, sorry. Tanner Lee was able to intercept though for Black. Back on the wing again. This is Chloe Shearing, Van der Heever, teammates at West Perth. Had kicked forward from Blacks, picked up by Ruckman, or the ruck in Michaela Rogers. Fish has been given the decision that she didn't have to play on there. Kick from Black again, the build-up's okay. Sims, little handball, this time's really good. That's beautiful from Jade Mead to Boothman. Boothman runs into an open goal and kicks it straight through the middle. Well, slow build-up, it just changed gears into 6 and was able to smash this through for a goal. Well done, Emily Boothman, but also in that whole build-up was terrific. A little inside from Sims, and then Jade Mead just was able to release Boothman. Nice finish.
Yeah, and it started all the way at the top where Fish, clever to come across, saw the 45, took it on with Noakes. She had space, took it. A nice kick. It wasn't marked, but the players stayed moving forward. So a really good build-up from Black there. That's the sort of skill that we saw for longer periods of time last week than we have this week. But it shows there that it's definitely in there, and a skillful finish from Boothman, who's now 2 goals, 1 for the evening.
It's the sort of passage that Black would have liked to have seen a bit more of tonight. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to do so, but it's probably their best passage that we've seen here in game 2. We're back in the middle. Just 5 or 6 minutes remaining. Tonkin in there again, gets the hand pass away, and Gold will go forward through Rogers. Very athletic footballer. Raisin here again from about 50 out, long to full forward, but the target slipping over there in Cripps. Just gives Black a chance to clear, although Blurton's got other ideas. That's a good spoil. In comes Cripps again. Nicely done there for Black. Getting a little soccer kick in was O'Donnell. She'll go again. Cripps continues to apply the pressure. Draws a couple of players towards her, gets the hand pass away. It's a good piece of work there from Grassinus. Kicks to a dangerous area. Dodd's gone towards full forward here, can't take the mark. Henry is in a dangerous position as well, but it's going to come out from Black. Liddington with the clearing kick. Hall for Gold to get it back inside the arc once more. Grassinus comes across, applies the pressure, wins the footy. Gives it off again, the kick towards full forward. No one really attacking that mark. Fenton at the back gives a hand pass away, and Black are able to clear through Greenwood. She finds her target on the way back out as well. And Black might look to switch this long, although Haynes has been cleared by that kick. Haynes has been clever with the soccer kicks, and she's given Boothman a chance again here.
Pappas really sweating on her there. Good read of the footy from Mia Pappas. Boothman's followed up, tries to brush off the Macheska tackle, can't do it. Jade Mead's looking inside, coughs up a little handball, 3-on-1. She's turned it over. Good to kick that one, just under that kind of pressure. Macheska's looking to connect in the middle of the ground. Through Haynes's hand. Van der Heever over the back. Fish going past Jamie Henry initially. Henry able to hang on in that contest. Mendoza crashes in. Riley Hall again. Neat with her quick kicks today. Reach does that to spoil Racing. Reach is able to lock up Chirichilli. And Paul gives the ball up with 3.5 minutes to go. Rogers versus Mendoza. Rogers used the body on that occasion. Mendoza just a little bit sideways. This is what we like from O'Donnell. Searing run. Connects ahead by hand. Can go back. Konoski tries to handball into space. Left behind by Cooper. Picked up by Mead again. That was a contest, Jade Mead. This is Boothman. Pollard's left her opponent, Britton. Britton gets it out the back. Has to stop to pick it up though. Allows the pressure to come from Nelson Marsden and Pollard. Sinclair puts her head over the footy, picks it up. Quick kick to the back to Boothman, looking for a third. She's got trouble in her hands. She's been tackled from both sides by 2 different Gold players in Francesca and Locke.
Closing stages, Gold by 32. Been in total control since the start of tonight's contest. A bit different to last week's where it was just 1 point that separated the two teams. Might need a secondary ball up to split them this time, although it just spills out the back now. Doesn't actually break away from the congestion though. Corley loses the footy. Black will go forward with a high ball. Mark not taken by Britton. She'll follow up and try to apply some pressure on Sinclair. Stands up well in the tackle. Britton's tackle was good though. Allowed the ball to spill free. Sinclair again, clearing the area. Happy to stand under the football is Hall. Takes a good mark. Gets it moving pretty quickly. Haynes makes the good spoil for Black. Machevska comes through. Hand pass puts her teammate under pressure. Zippy Fish was onto her pretty quickly. Nicely done there with the step coming through by Chirichilli, but then she was stripped of the footy. So holding the ball, Georgia Haynes will have it yet again.
Hall's been doing a lot of work for Gold this quarter, hasn't she? We've seen her in both 50s. So running up and back.
Haynes as well. This one goes, kick goes through Noakes' hand. Grayson's first to touch that, coming through to Liddington. So Donald again, my apologies. Blurton emerges with it. Long kick in. Favours Gold. Olivia Cripps. Can't quite find the measure of this one. She's approached by Greenwood and Reach. Ball spills out to Bushby. She's got a little bit of time perhaps. The ball eventually goes over the line. It should be a boundary throw in. The forward pocket, Team Gold. WA Gold, that is. Versus WA Black. Domestic program again in 2021. Looking for the build towards this, well, 25 of this group potentially next year. Travelling for a championship. Which will be great to see. Our girls footy all around the place. The flying shot from Cripps is to the near side.
So a minute left. Just playing out time. Let's see what we can produce here in the last minute. Any late highlight from anyone out there just to get their names up in lights. Noakes a little short pass on the way back in. She'll follow up and get the hand pass back. Clears as wide as she can for the moment at least. Chirichilli applying the pressure for Gold again. Ball comes out. Pappas, soccer kick and then collect off to Van der Heever. Uses the non-preferred, squeezes the kick forward, but it's going to be intercepted. And Gold have it once more. So we wind down towards the siren. Chance perhaps for Raisin to send them forward and get a late goal. Cripps at the back, can't quite take the mark. Has the recovery, was pretty good, but then she was wrapped up in an excellent tackle. That's a nice piece of work to finish things off by Liddington, who earns herself a free kick, kicks across the face of goal. And we're just about to tick down to the siren. Haynes gives a lead. That kick's going to be intercepted by Chirichilli. And can she kick from outside 50 after the siren? Well, she doesn't bother in the end. She sent the kick into the pocket. And that's the end of tonight's contest. Gold run out winners by 33 points. They controlled the game pretty much from the start. Black kicked the first goal, but then after that, Gold had another 4 on the board before quarter time and were never troubled from then on. So very strong performance from Gold. Machevska played a very good game tonight, up forward and down back. And really, Jen, probably the names that caught your eye throughout the night, mostly on that Gold side of the page.
Yeah, I guess for Gold, Machevska definitely one of them. She had 2 goals and worked, as you said, both in attack and defence. Blurton was big in the first quarter, wasn't she? She had 5 shots on goal in the first quarter, 2 goals, 3 behinds for her, and just was really key in that first quarter of setting the game up because her forward 50 defence was really important for Gold. Other than that, I think Hall is the one that's come through. She's ended up with 20 disposals for the night, 3 tackles, 3 marks, 2 inside 50s and 3 rebound 50s, just to show that she's actually worked the entire end-to-end football from Hall, someone that wasn't up in our names last week, so someone who's taken her opportunity this week to really impress me. For Gold, Van der Heever and Fitzgerald again doing a very good job across the park. Dodd was good at getting her head over the ball in and under and releasing them out of stoppages for Gold.
Job done, Dex. I think the 2 weeks matches are a success as far as the program's concerned.
Definitely. So just exposure at this level. So the argument from the WAFLW clubs will be that these girls involved in league programs, but it's great to see these girls be able to play against their own age, and that's very important. And also get a chance to represent their state as well. And there's the idea that they can get some specialist programs at state level under the tutelage of Bo McDonald and then Wes and the whole team. focus on individual skill development, individual knowledge in the team context, where the win and loss, there's no pressure of the win and loss, there's no necessary concentration on structures. It's just about getting the ball and doing your thing.
And not to forget, there's 3 or 4 players that played in the state 19s who are of this age as well. So if you can line up the WA talent, add in a couple more very talented footballers on top of this, and the future's bright.
Ash Reddy, Ella Roberts, we've discussed. Miley Leach from East Fremantle is a very, very neat and highly skilled player, and Lauren Wagfer from South Fremantle. So inject those 4 players who are all playing league footy at their clubs into this team here, and you can see some real talent. But we sort of decided as a talent team, you know, led by Adam Jones and Scott Baker, our executive manager, to expose some younger talent in this program, and sort of set ourselves up 3 years in advance. So the idea is these 14-year-olds have had a big taste, and they know that they're not at level, and they know what it's going to take, and they can have a look at some of these players that can play that level and do some work. And players like Georgia Haynes, who's only 16 years of age, and Holly Gill just turning 17. It's pretty exciting.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, Holly Gill, you just mentioned her. She was fantastic in the ruck for Black today. She won the hit-outs by quite a distance for Black. And when you think about condensing these 2 teams into one team, that's when you start to get that little heart flutter, don't you? Because that's a bit more exciting again. So the program itself is, yes, there's players who have got some league experience and they're at their waffle clubs doing lots of stuff, but that importance of playing amongst your peers, getting a chance to try in different positional roles and different minutes for a game, that's where these programs are still so vital, and it's been a really good couple of weeks for all these players.
We are awaiting the NAB medal, and of course on your point too, there's 3 layers of players too. There's 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds involved in this program. So it's trying to set us up as a step ladder for the future. Ellie Lampkin just busily collecting the votes for the NAB MVP. So we'll bring you that. Hopefully we can stay with us, and I think this might be the first that our team in the truck are hearing, but we have got an award, MVP, so it's an AFLW NAB medal for the most valuable player across both series. Voting done by both coaches, by Trent Cooper, by Ellie Lampkin, and by McDonald. So 5 voters in a 3-2-1. I can tell you, you can probably guess who was leading after last week's game. But it's going to be an interesting one.
Well, the squads have come together. The 2 teams have come together into the full squad now. They've just gathered on the boundary line just beneath our broadcast position, and Ellie Lampkin's coming across to speak to the group. Trent Cooper's there, as you mentioned. Steve Malaxis representing the West Coast Eagles. Bo McDonald's down there as well, representing the Footy Commission as the head coach of the State 19s. Ellie's having a chat.
Little thank you from Ellie Lampkin, and a little explanation of the NAB MVP award. We're still on highlights here. Down in front of us, there is a presentation going on. Trent Cooper from Fremantle will get to shake hands with the winner, as will Steve Malaxos from the West Coast Eagles. Because Ellie Lampkin, this time last week, worked for the West Coast Eagles.
She did take off the big jacket. That was the big warm jacket.
There you go here. So this is the presentation here. Ellie Lampkin, probably just acknowledging the efforts of parents with a midweek game. Very, 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 very quick and intense 6-week program. Thanking the Fremantle Football Club and the West Coast Eagles Football Club. These are great pictures brought to you by Front Row Screens. On the ground level with the players, Jamie Henry in the foreground should feature in the voting.
It's interesting, as Jen mentioned, that the names that you can circle sort of to push the 2 squads together into one team. I just started noting a few names down and ended up with a list of about 25 during the call that have impressed in some way over the course of the 2 matches. Of course, in terms of picking a squad, if you're about to go and play against another state, it's not so much who's best on ground tonight. It's looking at that talent and seeing what could be developed from that talent. There might be players who maybe only got 10 touches, but there might be enough talent to suggest what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, that they're a player of the future.
This is Bo McDonald's going to present the AFLW NAB Best and Fair, or Most Valuable Player, and it's gone to Zippy Fish. We've got some sound from down there now too. Been able to get a mic down there, I don't think.
Well, her match last week was quite outstanding and very exciting to watch, and she did a couple of nice things again tonight. Didn't quite have as much impact tonight, but probably not so much her fault. The Black team were overwhelmed.
3 players that are used to getting photographed. Steve Malaxis, quite a decorated Western Australian footballer in the AFL. Steve Malaxis, of course, massively decorated. Trent Cooper as well. So they knew what to do in terms of arranging their hide order there. It's just elite prep. And now Zippy Fish, the ripe old age of 14, forced to talk in front of her peers.
So a 14-year-old wins the under-17 medal for WA, and a 16-year-old won the under-19 medal for WA. So there's some serious talent coming through the younger age groups here in WA.
Special mention to Jess Smith, who's been such a massive advocate. She's a talent manager for the AFL, and she's been a massive supporter of us in WA. She has it all around Australia. Of course, funding this program and supporting this program, footballs and medals, and of course the base funding for the program. So AFL, thanks very much to Jess Smith and her team in there. I know Roger Berryman does a fair bit of work in that area too.
Zippy's numbers from the two nights there, Jen.
Yeah, so someone who's been consistent across the two games. She had 18 kicks and 5 handballs in the first game, so for 23 disposals in total. She also had the 6 tackles last week and 9 inside 50s. Today, she's gone pretty well again. 18 disposals in total, 7 tackles and 5 inside 50. So you can see across 8 quarters of footy, she's been really consistent and well-deserved for her.
Did an outstanding job last week and consistent again today in a team that was overwhelmed really from start to finish. But a lot of smiles around, as you said before, Degs. The girls have enjoyed their 2 weeks. We've enjoyed our work up here. Thanks to Matt and the team from Front Row Sports Front Row Screens to be able to bring us the live stream across both weeks. They've done an outstanding job yet again. Well done to Jen for all your work again. And to Degs, just about time for you to pack up, mate. From the commission, anyway.
My boss is standing over my shoulder, and he's reminding me that I've got one more day on my contract to run. So I'll have a good time with him tomorrow, wrapping things up and handing things over to Ellie Lampkin. WA Footy in terrific place to continue to go forward with Adam Jones and now Ellie Lampkin leading that team.
And as we look at some of the highlights, time for us to sign off. There's Waffle W action still to come on the weekend as well, thanks to Front Row Screens. So if you're keen on your women's footy, stick with Front Row Screens across the weekend and moving in towards the final series coming up very soon. Have a great evening. Catch you again shortly.